An ore digger is someone who doesn't give up, who pushes forward, who isn't afraid to learn something new and isn't afraid to face a problem and do it the best they possibly can.
It means being a problem solver by taking your own experiences and applying your unique skills.
Everyone who comes here wants to learn and they want to get better and to do things that are really challenging. The people at Mines are always willing to take that extra step.
It's very admirable to see everyone chase something that they truly love.
There are so many people at Mines that really want to invest in you, that really care about you, that want you to succeed.
I feel like the professors actually care about who I am as a person, and they've tried to get to know me during my time here.
I've met my best friends at Mines. Even a lot of the faculty and administration I consider friends now.
I've met so many adventurous, dynamic, interesting people at Mines that have just really inspired me to be the best person I can be. It amazes me, just all the people around me are so hardworking and intelligent.
Mines isn't really a solo sport. You have to have, friends in your major, friends in your classes where you can really team together, help each other learn, and build each other up.
Some of my best friends are part of the ROTC program, and it really shapes you into a hardworking person.
Everyone is really just here to get through it together, and that sense of kind of shared achievement is one of the things that makes Mines so different.
I think some of the traditions, especially M-Climb, are really amazing.
Singing the fight song together and just getting to feel that sense of, coming back to campus. It's like how I start the school year is, go to the M-Climb, and it just makes me feel more at home.
It's really exciting to see the next generation of students come through and show them, hey, we're already a family. It's day one, but Mines is here for you.
I still remember my very first physics class in the classroom right behind me right now in CTLM, and the Michael Morphew in that classroom is certainly not the same as the Michael Morphew sitting right here, so it's just been an incredible journey.
I came to Mines to prove to myself that I could be an engineer, and I'm leaving Mines to help speak up for others so that they can also be engineers.
I think I came to Mines mostly just to get a really good education, but I'm definitely leaving Mines with a community of people around me that I know I can rely on for the rest of my life.
I came to Mines ready to take on Mines. I'm leaving Mines ready to take on the world.
I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my brother, my girlfriend for their continued support.
Administration, faculty, friends, peers here at Mines.
I want to thank my Sigma Kappa sisters for getting me through all those rough times and believing in me.
To my family, to my friends, and to my classmates, thank you so much. I wouldn't be here without you, and I truly believe that we're greater than the sum of our parts together.
Thank you, Mines. I am so happy that I did this.
We succeeded at Mines. What's next?
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the platform party as they enter Lockridge Arena. Today's ceremonial Pomp and Circumstance was performed and recorded by students in the Mines music program. The processional is led by Dr. Alexis Stichler, faculty member in the Geology and Geological Engineering Department, and Dr. Zahi Kath, Faculty Senate President. Dr. Stichler is carrying the University Mace, a symbol of knowledge, authority dating back to the 13th century. It's topped by Blaster, our beloved school mascot. Dr. Kath is carrying a replica of the 16th century book, the De Re Metallica, widely considered to be the foundational book on mining and metallurgy. This book represents the body of knowledge shared by Mines faculty and students, and its opening and closing on stage indicate the beginning and closing of today's ceremony. Platform party members include President Paul Johnson and Provost Dr. Tom Boyd, Distinguished Speaker Bruce Grewcock, department heads, vice provosts, and vice presidents. Members of the Colorado School of Mines trustees, including alumnus and chairman Tom Jordan, alumnus and trustee Patty Starzer, alumnus and trustee Charles McNeil, alumnus and trustee Jesus Salazar, trustee Denise Burgess, and faculty trustee Linda Batalora. Continuing the processional are Mines faculty, and welcome our bachelor's degree candidates who are entering from the top of the arena. Today, we are conferring 932 bachelor's degrees, and the flags on stage represent the home countries of our graduates. This year's graduating class hails from the countries of Angola, Austria, Benin, Cameroon, Canada, China, Colombia, Ethiopia, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Iraq, Israel, Japan, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Kuwait, Malaysia, Mexico, Mongolia, the Netherlands, Norway, Oman, Pakistan, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, Thailand, the United Arab Emirates, the United Kingdom, Vietnam, and the United States of America. Please remain standing until all of our graduating students have entered Lockridge Arena. Please remain standing for the national anthem performed by the Colorado School of Mines Quartet, the Gold Standard, joined by graduates of the music program.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing as the Gold Standard performs the Alma Mater. The Alma Mater opens convocation and begins commencement, marking the transition from Mines students to Mines alumni. You can find the Alma Mater's lyrics on the inside cover of your program.
Raise your voices, engineers, your devotion sing. To the greatest school of mines, let the chorus ring. Hail to thee, CSM, to our hearts most dear. Every miner lauds thy name, and every engineer. Honor, glory to thy name, these we pledge anew. While we live to sing thy fame, Alma Mater true. Hail to thee, School of Mines, silver and the blue. Every miner sings thy praise, O Alma Mater true.
Please be seated. Please welcome the 17th President of the Colorado School of Mines, Dr. Paul Johnson.
All right, good morning. How about another round of applause for our Ore Digger singers? All right, thanks everyone for being here on this very special day. On behalf of Colorado School of Mines, welcome to our commencement ceremony for the class of 2019. It was only a few years ago that as first-year students, our graduates carried their 10-pound rocks up to the M through a barrage of water-wielding and fight song-singing upper-class students. Upon reaching the M and adding their rocks to those of the generations of mine students who preceded them, they then painted those rocks, perhaps getting more of the paint on themselves than the rocks. The M climb was their welcome to the mines community, the symbolic start of their mines education, and the first of many challenges that these graduates overcame on their paths to the ceremony today. With that memory in mind, we'd like to start with a moment of reflection offered up by student Jeremiah Joyner, who's graduating later today with a degree in engineering physics. Jeremiah?
Members of the faculty and administration, fellow students, family, and friends, it is my honor and privilege to offer an invocation for this commencement ceremony. As we gather today to celebrate our academic achievements, we are aware that some of the friends and family who shared in and supported our journeys are no longer with us. Today, we would like to make a special acknowledgement for a member of our community, Ryan Vincent, my best friend and former roommate, who passed away sadly on May 6, 2018. Today, he would be graduating with a degree in chemical engineering. The Mines Board of Trustees has awarded Ryan with a posthumous degree, and a member of the Vincent family, Bobby Creason, will be walking for Ryan in the ceremony at 1 p.m. today. Before I lead us in prayer, would you please join me in a moment of silent reflection in remembrance of Ryan and all others who started with or supported us on our journeys and could not be with us today. Let us also offer support for those affected by the shooting this week at STEM High School in Highlands Ranch, especially Kendrick Castillo's family. Let us pray. Almighty God, bless this fine institution, the Colorado School of Mines, that it may be a lively center for sound learning, new discovery, and the pursuit of wisdom. Grant that those who teach and those who learn may find joy in all their endeavors. As we celebrate the completion of our studies today, we ask for guidance in the days to come. Whether further studies, the workforce, or the wider world beckon, may we all live fulfilled lives that bless others and contribute to society. We thank you for our dear friends and family who shared in and supported our educational journey, and for always believing in us. We thank you for the freedoms we enjoy to pursue learning and life and love. Constantly raise our eyes from the mundane and the predictable to catch a glimpse of the glorious possibilities of adventure and discovery. Give us humble, thankful hearts for all the blessings of this life. In sincerity, we ask all of these things. Amen.
Thank you, Jeremiah. In his invocation, Jeremiah mentioned this week's shooting at STEM School Highlands Ranch. For those of you who are not from the area, that's located about 20 miles from Mines, and as the name indicates, it's a school that's focused on really students and their families who are very interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. If you followed this story, you know that a student, Kendrick Castillo, sacrificed his life to save his classmates. He and his classmates are heroes. We've read that Kendrick had aspirations of being an electrical engineer and that he embodied many of the traits of Mines students. Just as a note, some of our electrical engineering students have made patches that they're going to wear today in honor of Kendrick. We currently have about a dozen students at Mines from STEM schools, Highland Ranch, and there are almost 20 more that have been admitted and plan to enroll next fall. I wanted to let you know that I sent a note yesterday to STEM School's Executive Director offering Mines prayers and support and indicating that we would like to establish the Kendrick Castillo Scholarship for students from STEM School Highland Ranch so that Kendrick will be remembered for the opportunity he provided others. When the time is appropriate, we hope to have follow-up discussions with the school and the family, and last night we did confirm their interest in doing this. So please keep all of them in your thoughts and prayers. So thank you for that. So as the commencement program and the national flags on stage indicate, today's graduates come from all around the world, including right here in Golden, Colorado, from Fredericksburg and Hockley, Texas, West Simsbury, Connecticut, Williamston, Michigan, as well as California, Alaska, Hawaii, and 34 other states, plus Malaysia, the Netherlands, Oman, and 29 other countries. Many were attracted to Mines because of our size, focus, close ties to industry, surrounding natural beauty, and reputation as one of the most highly respected STEM universities in the world. For 145 years, Mines has focused on producing the top scientists and engineers, industry leaders, innovators, and innovations that the world needs. A Mines degree instantly commands respect. It communicates a strong work ethic and perseverance and indicates that you are resilient, a great team player, and that you're ready to tackle anything. Might also say something about your ability to go for days without food, exercise, or sleep, but we're not going to get into that here. Alumni affectionately say it was tough to get into Mines, but even tougher to get out. Mines students have to rely on each other as well as their friends, coworkers, and families for support and encouragement. Because of that, I'd like to give the class of 2019 an opportunity to thank those of you here today and watching on the internet who played a critical role in their successes. So first, will the parents of our graduates please stand? You are always easy to spot at graduation, bursting with pride and probably wiping away tears even before the procession started. You raised amazing sons and daughters. They are so bright, creative, energetic, and, well, quirky. After all, how many schools have a student who pulls a ginormous pi symbol on a trailer behind his pickup truck every March 14th? Or have students who will get up early on the only Friday we excuse them from classes just to pull an ore cart down to the state capitol? Thank you for supporting and encouraging your sons and daughters to enroll in persistent minds. And while we're recognizing the parents, how about all of us give a really special early Mother's Day thank you to all the moms in the audience. Now, will the friends, siblings, other relatives, and significant others please stand? We affectionately refer to you as the distractions. Maybe you were the reasons why that 4-year bachelor's degree program actually took 5 or 6 years. You're probably the ones they were texting to while in class, or perhaps you enticed them to ditch class and homework altogether just to hit the trails, head to the ski slopes, or make the short tour at the brewery a weekly event. You're maybe the last class that does that too. In any case, thank you for supporting and distracting our graduates and keeping them grounded and connected to the real world. Now will they, let's clap for them one more time. Yeah. Okay, how about the faculty, staff, and leadership of Colorado School Mines and Colorado School Mines Foundation? You are the ones that deliver on our mission to educate, inspire, and innovate, and the reason Mines is consistently ranked in the top 5% of all public universities. You teach, advise, inspire, support, and raise scholar support for our graduates. I like to brag that the Wall Street Journal named you the top faculty across all U.S. public universities for your balanced dedication to scholarly research and classroom instruction. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for all you've done to prepare our graduates for their careers and for life beyond Mines. Okay, now graduates, you want to be especially enthusiastic for this last group because they have to approve your degrees later today. So will members of the Colorado School Mines Board of Trustees please stand? This is an incredibly accomplished group. They've all been appointed by the Governor of Colorado to serve in this role. They're scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs, CEOs, business leaders. Some of them are alumni of Mines, and they all believe deeply in the transformative power of a Mines degree and are dedicated to your and Mines' success. So thank you, trustees, for being here today. Okay, class of 2019, are you out there? The trustee said that was kind of, I saw a couple noses sort of go, Class of 2019, are you out there? Okay, that's a little better. Okay, you're special, like really. Actually, to Mines and to me. Most of you started Mines when I did and joined me on my very first M climb. Your transcripts won't fully characterize your time at Mines, and some of you are probably glad to hear that. What you did outside the classroom is equally important and will impact Mines and others around the world for years to come. You continued our long-standing traditions like the M Climb and E-Days, even riding down a near-frozen Clear Creek this year in cardboard boats in a snowstorm. You also created new student-driven traditions like Ore Digger Camp to onboard first-year students. You gave a lot of yourselves. You helped communities in other countries through Hike for Help and Mines Without Borders. You raised funds for valuable causes like heart health and literacy. About 10% of you are the first ever in your family to earn any degree in college. If you fit that category, would you stand for a moment? Some of you are also members of multi-generational Mines families. If you fit that category, would you stand, please? Yeah. You also helped others pursue STEM careers through Girl Scout and K-12 outreach events. You were peer mentors, residence assistants, and university innovation fellows. You created the Blaster Design Factory and started the Mines Maker Society. You enriched our campus through your art, music, creative writing, and acting. You founded Filmmakers at Mines and created some of the best E-Days videos I've ever seen. You showed the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference and other NCAA schools that team comprised entirely of engineers and scientists can win at the highest level of athletic competition and do it with class on the field, court, and track. You gave us new points of pride through your awards in national and international competitions. You won the grand prize at NASA's Collegiate Deep Space Competition, first place at ASCE's Regional Concrete Canoe Competition, and first place in IEEE's Regional Robotics Competition. Congratulations on all those things. That's great. For the past 3 or 4 years, you've made us the top athletics program in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, and at the end of the winter season, the #2 ranked athletics program in the nation out of more than 300 NCAA Division II programs. So congrats for that, too. You showed your potential for future innovation through designing a sustainable eco-village for a community in Guatemala, an accessible welding table for paraplegics, a multi-tool prosthetic arm for a U.S. Navy veteran, and a way to 3D print livable habitats on Mars. You also started a national security-related company in your Hacking for Defense course. You also now hold the official Mines record for the most canceled class days ever due to snow. You're welcome. And according to Lumosity, you are brainier than students at Harvard, Princeton, Stanford, and pretty much every other school in the country. If what you've done at Mines is any indication, you have the potential to be one of those magical classes that universities point to many years after graduation. After today, you're all heading in different directions, to jobs locally and around the world, to graduate studies at Mines and other top universities, and even to Washington, D.C. to present results of your research to Congress. Wherever you are going, I want you to know that the Mines faculty, staff, leadership, alumni, and trustees recognize your significant accomplishment and are proud to call you graduates of Colorado School Mines. I hope that you share and always carry that pride with you wherever you go in life and your career. And as you make your mark in the world, I hope that you find some way to help others pursue their education dreams and to stay engaged with Mines. You are all hell of a engineers, hell of a scientists, and ore diggers for life. I ask you all to become hell of a Mines alumni. Congratulations. Now I would like to introduce our student speaker, Sarah Alhumaidan. Sarah's wandering around. Sarah's from Saudi Arabia and hopes to be graduating today with a degree in geophysics. Any geophysicists out there? It's usually a loud group. Provost Boyd likes that one. He's one of those people too. During her time at Mines, Sarah served as a program coordinator for the International Students Club and as public relations officer for the Saudi Students Association. Sarah was also involved in opening a section for Arabic books in Arthur Lake's library where students can exchange and borrow books for free. After graduation, Sarah plans to return to Saudi Arabia and begin her professional career with Aramco. Please join me in welcoming your student speaker, Sarah Alhumaidan, to the podium.
Good morning, everyone, faculty, family, and the class of 2019. It's an incredible honor to be here. Each graduation ceremony, someone is chosen to reflect on the past years. And each year, I attend with open ears, longing for my chance on this platform. If I compare how we all were when we first came here with the people I see in front of me today, I think it's safe to say the journey was tough, but we became tougher. Graduation is not only for us, but also for family, friends, and beloved ones. Graduation is not only about a degree we're earning, it's about determination, hard work, love, and belief. I asked myself, what does it mean to get an education at Mines? Is it just about the academics? Engineering is the use of science and math to design solutions and solve problems. We are at Mines to have experiences that teach us more than solving engineering problems. I realized it's all about the meaning we give to those experiences. The following is just a little of what I have learned from these experiences. I learned that failure is not as scary as it may seem. Yet, losing hope is scarier. Failing my first geophysics exam was a shock. I tried again, but failed my second one. I lost faith. And at that moment, I undervalued myself, which is what frightened me the most. So I learned how to study smarter, not harder, and never let myself go back to that darkness again. From this, I believe giving up can never be an option. I learned that when you think your heart is broken, put your hand on your chest. It's not broken yet. Rather, it's fighting for you. Do not resist seeking out for help and continue reaching for your goals. My aunt was one of my beloved ones back in Saudi Arabia, waiting to celebrate my graduation. Every time I went back home, she used to make me a hot cup of tea, and we shared warm-hearted conversations that she would always end it with, "God bless you, Sarah. I'm so proud." She used to see herself through me. She was happy that I have done something that she couldn't do. However, I lost her last year during midterms. She fought her illness with a smile, and I chose to fight my pain with a smile and surround myself with a support system to complete my journey. Our time at Mines was about the challenges we chose to accept, even the small ones. And whether those challenges were good or bad, the way we dealt with them is what makes us who we are. Regardless of your religion, nationality, or past, the only thing that matters now is you, your thoughts, intelligence, and kindness. Our time at Mines was not only about pushing us to the extremes or getting us out for comfort zones. No, it was about experiencing being both comfortable and uncomfortable to explore and find ourselves. No matter what your GPA is, for us, our diggers, it's the experiences that matter, not results. Practicing a new sport that you never knew you'd love, helping out someone that you don't know by name to pass a project, taking an elective in your last semester that made you rethink your major, taking time explaining that 0.5 credit hours to family members. These are the kind of experiences that define who we are. To conclude, I would like to leave you with 3 lessons to carry on in life. Do not lose hope when you fail. Get help when you're lost. And use your experience to make a more developed, efficient, and safer world. To the class of 2019, God bless you all. We have made it.
Do we have the coolest podium or what? Engineering school, you gotta have something fun to play with up here. Sarah, that was amazing. Thank you. Great job. All right, now it's my great pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Mr. Bruce Grewcock. You'll find a full bio sketch for Bruce in today's program, but in brief, Bruce is Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Keynote, one of the largest construction and engineering companies in the United States. Bruce is also a proud alumnus of Mines and our mining engineering department. Where's the mining engineers? On a per capita basis, that was pretty good, I guess. You want, but I don't know, we should give Allison, Marie, and Paul over there a chance to do it one more time. So, Bruce is a proud alumnus of Mines in our mining engineering department. Even better, good, excellent. Bruce joined Keynote in 1982 as a chief engineer at Black Butte Mine in Wyoming and was quickly promoted to vice president and operations manager, followed by president of Keynote Mining Group, election to their board of directors, and in 2000, Bruce became president and chief operating officer. He assumed the role of chief executive officer in 2005, becoming only the 7th executive to lead the company, which traces its roots back to almost about the same time that Mines was founded. Bruce is a visionary and has for many years been a valued advisor to Mines. He challenges us to aspire to greatness and also supports the efforts needed to achieve that goal. For example, his family established a scholarship fund to support out-of-state students, and they also provide the lead gift that enabled us to establish Mines' world-leading center for underground construction and tunneling. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Bruce Grewcock to the podium.
Thank you, Paul, and I'm actually a little nervous after following that fantastic speech by Sarah, but I will do my best. Very, very great words there. But thank you, President Johnson and the Board of Trustees, for inviting me to this. It's quite an honor, and also add my welcome to all the graduates and the friends and family that are here. This is a special day, and I actually do have a remembrance of the day I graduated as well. And when President Johnson called me, or scheduled a call with me, I logically assumed he was looking for another donation from me to the Mines Fund. Now, Mines Fund is something I've contributed to before and plan to contribute in the future, and I urge all of you to contribute as well. You are graduating from a unique and special place, and it deserves your support. But when he asked me to deliver this address, quite frankly, I was taken aback. Now, in my role at Keynote, I speak to many groups, large and small. So it's not really the fear of public speaking, but what could I possibly say that could resonate with this group of graduates? Now, after all, it seems that many commencement speakers tend to be celebrities or politicians of some sort, and many of them, in my opinion, kind of espousing some well-worn cliches. I'm just a Mines guy. I'm just a Mines guy and who life has treated pretty darn well. I was blessed with great parents, great wife, 2 boys, some grandchildren, and a professional career that has been richly, richly rewarding for me. Fortunately, in the last 10 to 15 years, I've gotten reconnected with Mines and have rediscovered how truly unique this place is. Now, when I was an undergraduate in the 70s, I'm sure I had many of the same thoughts of you. Wow, this is hard, demanding, it's challenging, and will I be glad to get the hell out of this place? The good news is, for most Mines graduates, that feeling will pass quickly and be replaced by a sense of great pride in being a Mines graduate. Now, when I was at Mines, the world was a very different place. It was shortly after the upheaval of the Vietnam War. As a matter of fact, ROTC was mandatory my freshman year. We experienced the first oil shock from OPEC, and year-long daylight savings time was thought to be the solution to the energy crisis. And the United States was coming to grips with all sorts of industrial pollution issues. Now, the education I received at the time was grounded in the fundamentals of math and science, but was still largely focused on the traditional earth sciences. Now, we studied hard. Back then, we had to have almost 150 semester hours to graduate. We played hard in an environment of almost all guys and just a handful of women. I particularly enjoyed E-Days of 1974, the 100-year anniversary of the school. And a replica of an old mining town was set up out on here on what I called Stratton Commons. I guess it's still called that. They set up a replica of an old mining town during E-Days, complete with a saloon. Certainly kind of a different time then. We had a good few days there, as I recall. But the minds of today is a far, far better place. If only for the 30+% women that are here. STEM education in this country needs more women to tackle the energy and environmental issues. And to think about essentially, at that time, excluding 1/2 of the population made no sense in my time. So I'm pleased to see all the women who are becoming Mines graduates. And I'm also pleased that the school maintains its sharp focus on math and science, but importantly, has expanded its reach into the other engineering and science disciplines. Mines, in my humble opinion, is the go-to place in the world for tackling the issues of earth, energy, and the environment. No place I am aware of is preparing undergraduates and graduates or doing the necessary research to ensure that we continue to raise the standard of living in the world and solve some of society's most pressing challenges. I have said it already and will again. Mines is a unique and an important place. And as you graduate, you will soon grow to appreciate being a part of this. Now, no decent commencement address ends without some advice for the graduates. So I guess this is my opportunity to pontificate a little bit, and those who work in my company know that I like to pontificate, but I will promise to be short and sweet. First thought. As you join the workplace and move into the next phase of your life, go forward with a big dose of humility. A big dose of humility about who you are and what you've learned. You will be put into situations surrounded by peers or your boss that may have or probably will have more experience or, God forbid, actually be smarter than you. Be humble and learn from them. Ask lots of questions. Listen closely to the answers and challenge if need be. In my experience, older folks are more than happy to pass on the lessons that they've learned. Now, you will also be thrust into situations where you are the smartest person in the room. As society tackles the complex problems of energy and environment, you will be called upon to use your technical knowledge to help government regulators, politicians, and members of the general public make informed, logical decisions based upon good scientific and engineering principles. These folks will mostly be well educated, but lack the expertise that you have. Being humble and acting with humility will serve you well if you get into these type of situations. Additionally, being humble is a key trait of great leaders. Become that person that people are eager to work for and with because they see that you value their input. The humble leader model is the best one that I've ever seen. The next piece of advice, and this is crazily obvious, work hard and work smart. Now, you all have the work hard part down. You figure that out, or you wouldn't be here today. And as old-fashioned as it sounds, I have not found a single piece of better advice. It rewards you both professionally and perhaps important to you financially as well. Complex, difficult problems often get solved by just putting in the effort and grinding away to get to the right solution. Eureka moments are few and far between. Now that being said, I was also add, work smart. Work smart as well as work hard. By smart, I mean two things. First, focus on what's important to get done. Too often people focus on what's easy or familiar to them, and they put off the difficult stuff for later. And I know what's important changes over time, weekly, monthly, yearly. So keep asking yourself, am I working on the important stuff? Am I working on the important tasks, things that will make a difference? In my experience, somehow that easy stuff, it takes care of itself somehow. And too many of to-do lists are filled with easy tasks that you can just check off, well, look what I got done today. The important stuff all too often is too easy to put off. And secondly, working smart means working on things you can control or have an influence on. Now in my business, the construction business, often our folks will complain about the weather or something negative that happened a few months ago. I can't control the weather, and believe me, if I could have, we'd be outside today. But I can't control the weather and I can't change history. So focus on things that you can influence in the future. Focus on things you can make an impact on. So work hard and work smart. My last piece of advice. Be curious. Develop a habit of being intellectually curious. Ask why a lot. Remember, if you ask why 5 times in a row, you'll get to the real root cause of a problem. Wonder how things work. The notion of being a lifelong learner is sound advice. Don't limit yourself to your field of study. I encourage you to broaden your perspective. Some of the least interesting people I've met, and with all due respect, and certainly excluding the mines faculty, are university professors who often just have a deep understanding of one single topic. I don't find them really very interesting, with the exception of the mines faculty. The saying, "to a man with a hammer, many things look like nails," capture, I think, the concept well if you think about it. I encourage you to seek out alternative points of view, however painful that might be. Learn how the world works and what makes people behave good or bad, and understand why they do what they do. Look for opportunities to meet and hopefully converse with interesting people. You will be amazed how that energizes you. And one of the other best pieces of advice I ever received was to read widely. And today, it's so easy with the internet and get access to books and magazines and articles and newspapers from all around the world. Now, because it is so easy to get access, it can be a bit overwhelming, no doubt. But I've developed a habit of kind of just skimming headlines. And I kind of have a habit early in the morning and skimming headlines through a number of publications that I look at. I'm looking for things that might affect my business or my personal life, things that could be an opportunity or maybe a threat. Now, currently, I'm quite interested in artificial intelligence, or AI. And I've challenged Kiewit to be the dominant data-driven company in our industry. Now, admittedly, my industry has been a laggard in adopting digital technology to improve outcomes. Now, we at Kiewit, though, I believe we are leaders. Leaders in regard to using data to drive decision-making, and believe me, largely driven by our young folks in our company. And we generate lots and lots of data about our projects. The potential for AI to ensure more predictable outcomes is enormous. And we've actually developed one predictive algorithm we've already done that's yielding significant benefits to us. But I'm sure that if I wasn't curious enough to learn about AI and understand what it is and what the potential was, and then push the organization along, we would be missing out on some fantastic opportunities. So let me wrap up. 3 pieces of advice that have served me very well. Enter the next phase of life with a good dose of humility, and become the humble leader, the person people want to be around, that they want to work with and for. Next, work hard and work smart. You know how to work hard. Now just add the smart part. Focus on the important things that you can control or influence. And thirdly, be curious about what makes the world work and why people do what they do. Broaden your perspective beyond differential equations and thermodynamics. It will serve you well in the workplace and probably make you a more interesting person. And lastly, and I know I repeat myself here, Mines is truly a unique and special place. And you are now joining, in effect, a very special club. You're a Mines graduate. Believe me, people around the world, and I've traveled around the world, they all know about this place. And when they find out you're a Mines graduate, they're going to say something like, "Oh, wow, that's a great school. Boy, it was tough." And you'll probably look at them, smile, and just kind of nod your head. I feel so privileged to be a part of this club, and I hope you are too. Congratulations to all of you, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today and to share those words of wisdom. And maybe later you'll join me in congratulating our graduates as they cross the stage. So, great. Please join me now in welcoming Dr. Dan Fox, our Vice President for Student Life, to the podium.
Mines was one of the first 4 colleges in the United States to establish a Reserve Officers Training Course, or ROTC program. Our first graduating class was commissioned in 1921, and our history of graduating exceptional students into military leadership positions continues today. I would like to invite Captain Brian Hotchkiss of the United States Army to introduce our graduates who earn commissions in the United States Air Force and the United States Army during the course of their studies here at Mines. Please welcome Captain Hotchkiss to the podium.
Good morning. It's both an honor and a privilege for me to recognize today's ROTC graduates and share in this truly wonderful occasion. Colorado School of Mines has graduated over 2,500 commissioned officers since the inception of the ROTC program in the early 1900s. Today, we express our gratitude to these exceptionally professional students as they have chosen a path to serve our nation as officers in the United States military. Over the next few days, 4 Colorado School of Mines baccalaureate recipients will take their oath, the next step to becoming second lieutenants. They will be commissioned into the United States Air Force or the United States Army. I wish to extend our sincere appreciation to the cadets' parents and families for their support and encouragement you have provided while your students studied at Colorado School of Mines. And we sincerely thank the faculty and staff of Colorado School of Mines for their mentorship and guidance you provided as these students pursued the commission while earning their degrees in applied mathematics, computer science, and mechanical engineering. Cadet Brandon Hall, computational and applied mathematics, will enter the United States Air Force as a pilot trainee. Cadet Adam Nelson, computer science, will enter the United States Air Force as a cyberspace operations officer. And Cadet Ian Obendorfer, mechanical engineering, will enter the United States Air Force as a developmental engineer officer. And Cadet Mitchell White, mechanical engineering, will enter the United States Army National Guard as an aviation officer. Congratulations and best wishes to each of you.
Vasquez. Appreciate you being here today. Okay, now we've got to that, I think we call the exercise portion of the program. These folks get to walk, you get to jump up and down, make a lot of noise and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to get to the point here where our graduates are soon going to be crossing the stage. As they do that, they're going to get, I'll greet them. If Bruce would like to shake hands too, he'll greet them. Provost, Dean, Department Head, and I'd like to invite the faculty, if they'd like to get up and shake hands with any of the students, to just add to the line. Go right down there, it's fine as well. As our graduates will appear on the big screen, parents, this is when you can get choked up and cry. Friends and loved ones, scream and cheer, and all that kind of stuff. And if you're in the bleachers, you got it. And in case there's any question, while the graduates are supposed to maintain some air of formality as they cross the stage, the audience can do whatever you want. And we'll go from there. So I'd like to take a moment, though, to acknowledge a few students who are graduating with honors and other awards before we start crossing the stage. So you'll see listings in the program about students and designations graduating with academic honors, cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude. And others have already received program-specific senior awards from their programs at other recognition events. So if you're one of the students who's graduating with some level of honors or has received one of those program-specific distinctions, would you stand up so we can clap for all of you? One other group I'd like to recognize as well. When you leave the stage, somewhere over there you're going to get some gifts. Wave your hands. Okay, there you go. Somewhere over there you're going to get some gifts from us. Handed out by the Alumni Association and my boss, Mrs. J, over there. And one of those gifts is going to be a very special thing that no one has gotten for about 30 years here at Mines. Ooh. So, and that is the Prospector Yearbook, which thanks to some very passionate members of your graduating class and Blue Key Honor Society members, they've gone to the trouble of putting together a Prospector Yearbook for you, and they've raised funds through alumni to pay for that yearbook, so you're going to get that today. So if you're a member of the editorial board of the Prospector or just a member of Blue Key because you do so many amazing things between running up and down the field with Blaster and doing the M-climb and taking care of the M and all those kinds of things, would you stand up so we can thank you and recognize? All right, everybody ready? Okay. Dr. Boyd, Bruce, you want to join me? Yep.
In Mining Engineering, Dr. Priscilla P. Nelson, Department Head. Shamir Balo. Anna Cable. Stella Coyote. Kinsley Costner. Carson Eltz. Camden Fraser. Marie Hetherington. Peter McGowan. Roy Bryant Megapachi Kautu. Alexandra Murray. Stephen Simmons. Curtis Spivey. Colton Vinola. Paul Winkler. In Civil and Environmental Engineering, Dr. Terry Hogue, Department Head. Brandon Bergman, Alicia Bush, Brian Kazir, Cole Cerise, Rachel Shigaris, Katie Christie, Dwayne Davison, Stephen Foster, Gabriel Gonzalez, Natalie Haber, Marina Hansen, Kerwin Hero, Jonah Howe, Jason Huseman, Ashley Johnson, Nicole Karasik, Sean Kelly, Benjamin Lynn, Mary Lobato, Jenna Lucas, Grant Martin, Daniel McEdigan, Daniel McMahon, Jeffrey Olson Jr., Shelby Palisol, Zachary Peterson, Joseph Plunkett, Stephen Reed, Kent Scott, Jake Snyder, Armand Sobey, Abby Steiner, Kalissa Sergani, Kevin Such, Heather Tatt, Emmy Tran, Adam Trujillo, Dorothy Walsh, Lindsay Whittington, Clayton Williams, Emily Bagnell, Denise Beltran Torres de, Kristen Brandecker, Cassidy Budge, Megan Coney, Wyatt Ellis, Megan Freitag, Maggie Genta, Renosuke Hankawa, Nicole Holland, Catherine Kirsteins, Anna Colmorgan, Megan Lundgren, Emma Miller, Jun Moon, Matthew Morris, Acacia Ortiz, Madeline Woody, Shema Yilmaz. In Metallurgical and Materials Engineering, Dr. Angus A. Rocket, Department Head. John Alba, Victoria Avance, Chase Bailey, Cameron Baker, Logan Bassett, Declan Cannon, Kelsey Cannon, Brianna Dumlau, Eric Ekstrand, Jacob Feldman, Jackson Finnemore, Catherine Fisk, Lauren Freitag, Dallas Frisbee, Sophia Gamba, Aaron Hammond, Ian Hendrick, Zoe Huey, Joshua Javier Borja, Emily King, Austin Lage, Boston Ludlow, Robin Marriott, Zina Murugapan, Jordan Palka, Jacob Pletcher, Spencer Randall, Samuel Riddle, Nicholas Rollman, Joseph Sawaged, Zachary Schlittenhart, Stuart Shirley, Jillian Story, Braden Terry, Taylor Valentine, Joseph Van Zandt. In Geology and Geological Engineering, Dr. M. Stephen Enders, Department Head. Carissa Anderson, Joshua Klein, Patrick Cole, Reed Crossan, Jared Dull, Brian Gray, Nicholas Hassler, Dustin Huntsman, Julian Jaramillo, Noah Johnson, Vivian Johnson, Jacob Jones, Brian Larson, Marshall Lee, Chiza Marialanda, Larkin Martini, Aaron Morrison, Julia Payne, Stephen Perkowski, Caleb Ring, Laura Rutherford, Tatiana Scherschel, Arthur Sinkler, Leland Spangler, Jacob Tarpley, Hannah Thomas, Claire Vandiat, Spencer Tappan. In Petroleum Engineering, Dr. Erdal Ozkan, Department Head. Manuel Acosta Gonzalez, Vincent Agliolo, Ahmad Firdas Ahmad Kamal Baharin, Lukman Aidil, Abdulaziz Akbar, Muad Rashid Nasser Alamki, Ayud Saif Humaid Al-Mamari, Ibrahim Al-Mazri, Zahir Salim Zahir Al-Sibani, Turki Al-Abri, Nawaf Al-Dasari, Itaf Al-Ghanim, Ahmed Al-Amadi, Daya Al-Abrahimi, Nazir Al-Makalad, Muhammad Al-Rabi, Sarah Al-Ruwai, Abdullah Al-Shuk, Amir Khalis Amir Mahmoud, Muhammad Aswad, Lauren Badger, Andrew Barton, Nurbal Bekasanov, Dalton Blanchard, Joseph Brady, Norena Diana Boudin, Jacob Coker, Kyle Cox, Daniel Cruz, Peter DiNatale, Justin Eckes, William Firth, Alexander Foytashik, Scott Goluska, Ashanafe Geberkadani, Paul Golub, Emilio Gonzalez Marroquin, Yanshan Guo, Jonathan Harris, Jack Harvey, Jay Hill, Noah Hobbs, Sarah Huney, Muhammad Hussein, Rung Napakor Nintanan, Widad Kamarudin, Allison Kelly, Samuel Kendrick, Osama Keshafati, Dylan Koch, Catherine Kowalczyk, Benjamin Krantz, Brandon Kula, Camden Lang, Caitlin Lotta, Jordy Lee, Samantha Leschiker, Elias Limon, Abdullah Luta, Daniela Mochnik, Stephen Martinez, Kelly McHugh, Michael McGinnis, Michael McKinstry, Brian Merlino, Amirul Adam Mohammed Azim, Amir Imran bin Mohammed Fadli, Farah Husna Mustafa Kamal, Iman Hana Mustafa Kamal, Yama Nabiyar, Patrick Patton, Benjamin Petty, Siradan Prateep Swawang, Michael Puckett, Imtiaz Rafiq, Nicholas Rosenhagen, Nadia Shri Rushdie, Cameron Sadie, Jayant Saxena, Felix Scheidt, Riley Schindler, Maxim Shakarov, Temulan Shiktulga, Jose Silva Mejares, Ritu Raj Singh, Austin Smith, Haley Smith, Hareen Subramanian, Kyler Thomas, Justin Thompson, Khadija Uzaman, Johann Thomas Van Ireland, Clay Woolert, Ayman Zulkifli. In Geophysics, Dr. John Bradford, Department Head. Sarah Alhumaidan, Annette Balmaz, James Bauer, Claire Bettini, Samuel Chambers, Daniel Choi, Aspen Davis, Tori Dovin, Alicia Downard, Kyle Fry, Michael Fryman, Spencer Goodwin, Derek Grimm, David Herman, Dylan Hernandez, Matthew Howard, Zachary Huxell, Mark Jeska, Adam Kynard, Caden Nostrom, Hannah Pauling, Tanporn Pitipapong, Colton Ponte, Anusha Prasad, Nicole Taverna, Christopher Teets, Nicholas Wagner, Zachary Zyla. In Applied Mathematics and Statistics, Dr. Gregory E. Fassauer, Department Head. Jesse Baxter, Cooper Brown, Jonathan Roger Castillo, Audrey Kate, Zachary Cheney, Julia Cormos, John Corrett, Jacob Gonzalez, Brendan Hall, Elizabeth Heath, Erica Holswade, Larson Kronstad, Delaney Lyman, Joshua Manis, Hugh McCreary, Bailey McKinney, Parker Meredith, Jacqueline Miller, Delana Moore, Anthony Nguyen, Emily Novak, Michael O'Leary, Michaela Serpus, Lily Sykes, Connor Taylor, Allison Tershi, John Valavchin, Erica West, Megan Wolf, Sarah Denardis,
All right. The next group, oh, you can stay up, Bruce. The next group are our outstanding graduating seniors from each of the programs. And so we're going to recognize them. And the goal here, I think Dr. Boyd always offers a academic GPA boost for the program that cheers most loudly for its outstanding graduating. Is that correct? Yeah, that's what I thought. So anyway, these are students that were selected by their programs to represent them as their outstanding graduating senior. And we had a little special awards banquet for them yesterday, but let's give it up for this group.
Ashlyn Hohenscheld, Jared Phillips, Evelyn Lundeen, Christina Breeze, Aaron Engers, Addison Kenyon, Michael Morphew, Danielle Barna, Kate Bubar,
So how about one more round of applause for all the graduates? Dr. Fox. Dr. Fox, pay attention. You want to help me with this one? We're going to do the baseball players. We have one other group, students that we want to recognize. Almost every year, our seniors on the varsity baseball team miss commencement due to competition in the RMAC championships, which seem to always take place at Mesa.
He's not looking at us.
He's not looking at us. Since we never get to see our players graduate, this year we kidnapped the president of Mesa and brought him here so he can't see his players play. So I'd just like to recognize we have President Tim Foster in the audience today, and Tim, stand up for us. So I'm going to ask Dr. Fox to read the names, and then we'll clap for all of them so that they'll know that we appreciate them and wish them good luck on their championship pursuits. And we made a little special video for them that they got to watch this morning and get their degrees from their parents while they watch the video from us. But we'd like to read their names. And Dan's the official name reader.
We have one other person competing right now. George Markham, who is graduating in Civil and Environmental Engineering, is on our golf team, and he's in St. George, Utah right now. The entire golf team is there for regional competition, but George is graduating. And in baseball, we have Daniel Sorolla from Geophysics, and Trevor Kay from Metallurgical Materials Engineering. So let them hear you.
Okay, we got one last thing to do before we make your degrees official. I would like to invite Miss Patty Starzer, alumna from the class of 1983 and a member of the Board of Trustees, to welcome our newest graduates into the Mines alumni community. Let's clap for
Thank you, President Johnson. Graduates, today you leave Mines as beneficiaries of a world-class education, one that has prepared you well for what comes next. You have graduated from one of the most rigorous engineering and science universities in the world. I hope you take great pride and joy in this accomplishment. Your Mines education has given you the means to not only solve problems, but to innovate. You came here from every point on the globe to learn, to build, to create together. You found common opportunity here, and that gives me great hope for our global future. Yesterday, you were members of a select group, students of the Colorado School of Mines. Today, you become members of a very loyal and valuable group, the Colorado School of Mines alumni. And I want you to know that around the world, you'll find other Mines alumni who know what you're made of. I hope that you and your families will join us in celebrating your new alumni status in a reception in your honor.
in the grand ballrooms of the Student Center following the ceremony. Thank you so much and congratulations.
We need little noises to go with this thing going up and down. It'll make it even cooler. All right, okay. Graduates, we've got to do the little blessing ceremony to make your degrees official. For that, I'm going to need the help of Provost Tom Boyd, Colorado School of Mines Board of Trustees Chairman Tom Jordan, and Dean Ramona Graves. I know, I just want to see if you're paying attention. You can sit down. No, stay here. No. So you have to hold the.
Always a bit confused.
None of this is official without the sacred lightsaber. And I've invited Ramona to have the honor of holding the sacred lightsaber because this is her last graduation ceremony before she retires from mines. And Ramona has been here for a few decades. We won't say how many, but she's really dedicated her professional career. She went to school here. She's been really a pioneer at mines and in her field. And I'd just like to give us all a chance to thank her for that. So please join me in thanking her. Okay, now before we go off script too much. No, you have to stay there and hold it while we read the words. So we've got a little routine we have to go through here. The words have to be just right, or we got to start the ceremony all over again, which we don't really want to do that. So Dr. Boyd's going to say some things. I'll say some things. Trustee Jordan will say some things. And so for this, I think we need all of the graduates to stand. That's step one. Okay, all right. Dr. Boyd, it's all yours.
President Johnson, with the approval of the faculty, I recommend that the Bachelor of Science degree be conferred upon these candidates. The candidates who are unable to be present today will be awarded their degrees in absentia. Their names appear in the program.
Thank you, Provost Boyd. Chairman Jordan, I present to the Board of Trustees these candidates. Each has been recommended by the faculty to receive his or her degree. I concur with the faculty, and it is my honor to present these candidates for your acceptance.
President Johnson, by action taken of the Colorado School of Mines Board of Trustees on April 29, 2019, I hereby direct you to award these candidates the degrees to which they have earned. Thank you.
We're not done yet, Ramona. There's a little bit more to go. Okay, I'm going to read this last part, and then graduates, this is the point where that tassel can go from the right to the left. So hang on, don't do it just yet, or it invalidates everything. Okay, upon recommendation of the faculty and by authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Science in the designated curriculum with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. I congratulate you on this outstanding accomplishment. Congratulations, graduates. You know, Ramona, you look so good, you ought to just stay there for a few minutes. We got a couple other things to do while we wrap this up. So go ahead and sit down for a minute, because we're going to need you to be energized in a couple seconds. We have been doing a mortar board contest. A lot of you have awesome decorations in your mortar boards, by the way. Great job with those. Really, you can clap for that too. It's okay. Somebody, I don't know who it is, and I don't know what criteria they use, choose the 2 best mortar boards that show the best mind spirit. And they're going to somebody's going to run out and give you a gift here in a second. But that's going to be, if you wouldn't mind standing, Evelyn Lundeen. Evelyn. And Jordan Polka. So these are the winners of our... All right. Okay. Now's the time for the grand finale. Ready? Maybe? Okay. We'll go through the steps here for a second, but I need, part of it's going to involve singing the fight song, and for that I need the help of our student athletes. So our student athletes, would you stand up for a second? All right. Let me tell you a little bit about all of our student athletes graduating today. In total, across the 3 ceremonies, there are 89 student athletes who are graduating. Within this group, we have 17 All-Americans, 7 academic All-Americans, 51 graduates who have been on conference championship teams or as individuals. 63 of them have made NCAA tournament appearances, either on a team or as an individual. And 2 of our graduates are national champions from members of our national championship cross-country team. So let's congratulate all of them. Sometimes people ask if we do athletics here at Mines, and it's like, yeah. And really, really well. So I'm going to invite our student athletes, if you wouldn't mind coming up in front of the stage, because you're the ones that know the fight song the best. Because like you sing it at the end of every contest. And if you'd like to, you can pull a friend of yours from the audience to join you. Come on up, Kyle. It's okay. You can lead everyone. Okay. And if there's members of the band or anybody else who would like to join with them, just come on up. Okay? All right. Okay. So here's, let's see, I got to read you all the instructions here. Okay, so the first thing that's going to happen is this group is going to lead us in the fight song, all right? And everybody's expected to participate in that, particularly the graduates, because if you don't know it by now, we're taking that degree away from you not. So at the end of the fight song, this is where everybody does one last round of applause for all of our graduating students today, okay? And if you're in the stands, you're expected to be twice as loud as the people down here, because you've got that extra advantage with the that part, right? So you've got that now. Dr. Kath, we're going to need you, President of our Faculty Senate. The ceremony doesn't officially end until he closes the De Re Metallica. And he only closes it when he feels like the audience is loud enough. And he's done so many of these ceremonies and dealt with so much noise that I think his hearing has decreased a little over time. So it seems to take a little bit more each additional ceremony to actually get him to close the book. When he does that, the processional song is going to kick in, and then something else is going to happen for very first time at a mine ceremony. So another new first. Frequently, we toss these blasters in the audience, and people fight for them. But Mines Maker Society decided we weren't as good at throwing them, and so they wanted to add a propulsion system to the... I told you our students were quirky. And so I would like to invite them on the stage with their contraptions. That they are officially known as the Blaster Blasters. So we'll forever have the sacred lightsaber and the holy Blaster Blaster in our ceremonies. And at the point when the book is closed, they are going to launch the blasters into the audience. And then continue to launch them into the audience. And at that point, graduates, if you'd like to, it's a good time to toss your hats in the air. And what's really good is while you're distracted by all of that going on, and people are looking for the hats again and fighting for the blasters, the platform party is going to sneak out the door. Okay? Because usually if we don't get out before all of you start moving, I lose 2 or 3 of them every ceremony. And they also would like a head start because they figure they've got to do 3 ceremonies today. They want to get over the food at the reception quicker before all the rest of you. So that's the other point is please join us over in the Student Center for the reception in honor of our graduates. And I think we're almost ready. Can we have a hand for the Migrant Maker Society there with their... They have been working on these things for quite a while, so I'm ready to see this happen. Okay, so just to go over the instructions, and while we're at it, on the platform party, you might as well stand up too. So you get ready to go. Okay, so the student athletes are going to lead us in the fight song. You guys got that part down, okay. Audience, you got the cheering, stomping part. Zahi, you got the book closing part down. The folks over there, you got the loud music part, right? Okay. Everybody stays in place, throw caps up in the air, blast the blasters. We sneak out, and then we all meet you at the reception. Okay? You ready? Okay. Once again, congratulations to everyone in class of 2019. Ore diggers, go for it.